Hello, fine folks, and welcome to Booghy Plays. Today I'm playing with questions. I'm doing an interview. I am interviewing someone. My guest today is an artist and an illustrator in our industry. He did the illustration, lots of illustrations for games like Medici, for the Quest for El Dorado, for Robinson Crusoe, for Time Stories, or for what Raptor. I think there's a lot of games. For one of my favorites, which is Broom Service, and for this beauty behind me, the latest hit in the board game in our industry, which is Unconscious Mind, together with Andrew Bosley, of course, but lots of yeah. But the cover, I think it's his. I hope I'm not wrong. It looks like he is. So, without further ado, my guest today is, and I welcome you, sir, with, and I'm honored, Vincent Dutrait. Bienvenue, monsieur.
Merci beaucoup.
Nous parlons en anglais parce que non tout le monde parle en français.
Très bien, très bien. Let's speak English.
We will speak in English. Welcome, sir, and thank you for accepting my invitation at Booghy Plays. I hope you are feeling fine. I welcome you here in my virtual board gaming room, in my virtual room, in my virtual comfortable, very comfortable chairs. I hope you're going to feel fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, quite fine this day. It's okay. Yes.
Today is a good day for an interview.
Yeah, perfect.
Like I told you in the beginning, the interview has two parts. The first part is about you, is more about you, and the second one is a questionnaire, which comes from your side of the woods, as they call it, and yeah, it's gonna be fun, I think.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, ready. I'm ready.
First, I will start with let's say the first part is a bit about who is Vincent Dutrait, and the first question is, where were you born and where did you grow up?
So I'm born in France, in Bordeaux.
In Bordeaux.
You know Bordeaux for famous for the wine,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I grew up in south of France, near Aix-en-Provence, near Marseille. So I grew up there, and now I'm 47 years old.
Well, um, I wish you more, more. I don't know how is this in English. So, how was it growing up in south of France? Because I know that that area, Aix-en-Provence, is it's around mountains. It's quite a beautiful area. It's a rural area. How was it to grow up in that part of France?
Yeah, very good because we have always nice weather. Almost in France is the best place to get nice weather all along the year and years like this. So, and I live in a countryside, not in a city. So I spend a lot of time outside to go fishing, to go in the wood, in the countryside, to play, to have fun, and to look at nature. And it was a great influence on me to live with nature very closely.
How did you have any siblings?
Yes, I
Siblings.
have a sister,
You have a
small
sister.
sister.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that must have had a big influence on you growing up
Yeah.
with a sister.
Yes.
Usually having siblings, well, I know that I have a brother. I don't have a sister. I don't know how it is to grow, but yeah, sharing things is way different than growing alone. So, did you play a lot together? Did you?
Yeah, we played a lot together, yes, and we played board games together already very young, and
Okay.
so yes, yes. Mm.
What were your parents' professions?
My parent, my mother, uh, she was journalist, specialized in archaeology
I see.
and history, and my father was a Chinese teacher.
I
And
see.
also together, they work together to translate books from Chinese, from literature.
I see. I see. I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so all of these, your parents' professions, having a sister, growing up in that rural area. How big of an influence do you think it had on, or how did that shape you as a person?
I think as we live in countryside, we were very close together, all four together. Usually every weekend, and we every year we went together for in holidays. So I think I get some strong sense of family to,
I see.
and respect from my parents for older people and something like that. And my parents get me. They were very young when I was born, so we were very close. So close as a parents and kid and child, and also close as friends. It was a very good to live with this feeling in the family.
I see. And did you when did as a child did you play a lot? Did you play sports? Did you, you know, start playing? How did let's say a playful how did you start playing? Or what did you play when you were a child?
I was I was a I was a lonely child more. I like to play alone. So I play alone with figurines or drawing also. I also draw a lot of things. I read a lot and walking in nature, looking at nature with my dog, and fishing alone, uh,
I
and
see.
I was quite lonely, but in a good way, in a good sense.
I see.
And one day the teacher, maybe I was 7 or 8 years old, the teacher was a bit worried, the teacher, and say to my parents, it's a bit strange because when I talk with Vincent and ask him what do we want to do in the future, most of my kid friends, they say, I want to be policeman or fireman or something like that. And I just say, I want to work alone in a room. Well, I succeed. I totally succeed.
I see. Well, that's a man with a vision. You are a man with a vision. You're a child with
Yeah,
a vision.
exactly.
Um,
I
so
was not sure about the work, but that was the point.
that was the point. Yeah. What? So when did you start drawing? Did this come to you?
I don't remember because I'll always read a lot of comic book, French comic book, and also comics from US. And so I read a lot, and I started to copy characters and draw, and also create new characters. And so I always draw, and my parents say, "Oh, if you like that, we will pay for you for some lessons or some, I don't know, drawing clubs or something like that." So when I was a kid, I always draw. I don't remember the starting point. So,
Yeah, and yeah, that, yeah. Sometimes, yeah, all childhood practically, in a way or another, informs a lot of what we will do in our adulthood. So, did your parents ever tried to make you go on another route, or because, well, usually being an artist is not is not seen by like a serious profession, because it's
Yeah.
hard to earn to earn a good penny out of it. Did they support you? And
Yes, they support me a lot. Also because we already have artists in our family. The two brothers of my mother were famous ceramists and also drawing teacher or something like that. So they were not very afraid about artist perspective, and they always support me. So in high school, when a teacher say, "Oh, there's something to do with Vincent about art and drawing," and they say, "Okay, let's find a solution. Let's find a good way to do this as best as we can." So I was very lucky for that.
I see. Yeah, yeah. Um, and what is the difference in age between you and your sister?
5 years.
Oh, there is a pretty big difference there. So did she disrupt your universe when she appeared?
No, when I started to develop myself, maybe 18 years old. So my sister was 13. So I didn't live a lot with her when she was young, when she was a kid. But it was okay. We never had troubles, or always good feeling, good mind, good spirit between us. So yes,
I
it
see.
was okay. And
And
she studied literature, and she's a teacher now.
I see. As I think your mother, no? Or
So
your mother was
a journalist.
a journalist, yeah. And your father did literature and translated
Voilà.
Chinese, yeah. So you went on another route than your parents, but the sisters followed in their footsteps. Uh,
Yeah.
so when did you discover board games?
Mm. I think when I was a kid, because my parents for Christmas or for birthday, we always receive board games sometimes for as presents.
I see.
And so we played board games. I don't know the name in English for all these games, but in France there were a lot of board games in 80s. So it was possible to buy and play a lot of board games already with different age level, skill level, etc. So I think I played a lot when I was a young teenager, and then I stopped to play board games because of computer video games.
Video games,
Because
yeah.
I had a Atari, Atari
Yeah, yes, yes.
computer, so I discovered RPG games or things like that on the computer. So I stopped almost to play board games, and it's years after by talking with people and friends, and also looking for work, that I come back in a board game universe.
Yeah, in French, board games are called jeux de société.
Exactly.
That means we play it's a game which is for the society, which the
Yeah, to
society,
play together.
yeah, to
Yeah.
play together.
Mm.
So it has, let's say, more meaning.
Yeah.
Did you play a lot with your parents when you were a child, or with family,
Yeah, we
friends?
played. Yeah, we played, and we played also card games, like a traditional card games and board games. Yeah, we played together. And also, my grandparents already played board games, so very old-fashioned board games. But they really enjoyed that. There is some kind of tradition in the family to play board games. Yeah.
So yeah, that's practically that's a part of the family's life, and
Yeah.
in a way, it was part of your life since the beginning, practically.
Yeah. Right.
When did you start? So, or what did you you did high school and everything there around Bordeaux
No, in Lyon. It
in
was in
Lyon?
Lyon.
Oh, okay.
Uh, when I was 18, I moved alone in Lyon to
To
start
study.
my life as an adult, and I studied illustration and graphic design in a art school, private art school. The name is École Émile Coll in Lyon. It's very top professional school, very, very hard. And I studied during 3 years with a lot of professional, all the teachers are professionals. So it was a famous French professional artist, illustrator, etc. So it was very, very good for me to get a good level very fast in 3 years.
Yeah.
And then I started to work immediately. So when I was 21 years old, I started to work as a freelancer.
In illustration in France.
Yes, and for children books first,
Okay, okay. Yeah,
because there's also a lot of work for children books every time, everywhere, and also for the book for school also. So I did a lot of illustration, maybe, I don't know, maybe 400 or 500, I don't remember. I did a lot of illustration for children books.
and when did you start coming back to board games, coming back to rediscovering modern board games?
So it was 23 years ago, something like that, in the beginning of 2000, a new era.
Yeah, yeah. Which started practically in '94, let's say, in the '90s with Catan, the new, let's call it the new era.
Yeah, something like that. So I was a bit bored about children books, so I started to contact people and from link people, and I started to work with. It was one of my first collaboration was with Asmodee, but at the very beginning of Asmodee, with very small group of people doing only RPG books, and we work on RPG books. And I say, we are going to develop a new branch for board games, and I started to work like that step by step.
So you were practically in it since the beginning, let's
Yeah,
let's say. And
yeah, like a dinosaur now.
do you play? Did you play lots of board games, or were you just interested in doing illustration for board games?
No, at that moment it was 50-50. I play board game, and uh, it was also a new. How can I say? There were a lot of work step by step in board game industry because the market growing up, and but it's a bit special because in um, during at this moment I met my wife, and she's Korean, and we decided to move to first time to move in Korea to live during few years. So during 5 years we moved in Korea, and at that moment many French publishers, they didn't have emails, only using fax or mail, real mail. So it was very difficult to get some work for board game or other stuff. And I decided to contact RPG publishers in the US. And immediately they say, okay, let's work together. So during almost 5 years, I worked almost exclusively for Paizo in US and Wizard of the Coast on Dungeons and Dragons, Fourth Edition, something like that. So
Okay.
it was some kind of break, but focused on RPG. And it was and 15 years ago, I came back in France during 5 years, and at that moment, I start again for board games.
For working in board games.
So at that moment, board game industry, it was a real jump
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
the market for everything. So.
yeah. Today, are you an active player? Do you play a lot? Do you get the time to play?
I played a lot, and I had tons of board games, etc. But now I'm a bit tired. There are too many games. Too It's too much for me. I cannot follow the flow.
of the market?
Yes, yes, it's crazy. There are too many games, too many things to see, to check, to read. So finally, 2 or 3 years ago, I say, okay, slow down. Uh, I will play only few games. So I remove maybe 70% of all the game we have at home. And so I prefer to play. I think before maybe I played with French in Korea, and maybe we played too much just for play. So I say, well, no, I prefer to play to play game for pleasure, to see nice work, nice mechanism, nice artwork, etc. Whoops, my camera. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so so now I'm playing game, but not very often. So,
I
so
see.
sometime, but with pleasure. Every time with pleasure.
So, what kind of a player are you? You play, let's say, more specialized games, more niche games, or do you like social games, or I don't know, easier Euro games, or more
Oh, I,
Ameritrash?
no, I'm not so fan of party games like that, but I prefer no, family games. I like family games, or we can say family plus games. But if the game is good, I can play. I will never say, oh, I don't want to play this or this. I also like Ameritrash or Euro games, and uh, I'm a worldwide player, so I'm not afraid. And if I don't like, well, yeah, it's okay. It's not.
You're not gonna play it again. Um, so, in a way, you were talking about becoming an artist in this industry. To you, it kind of came naturally. You were there at the beginning. Everything started to flow naturally for you. You went from board games to RPG. Now you came back to board games. How was your returning to drawing for board games? Do you find it harder to draw for board games or to illustrate for board games or for RPGs?
Uh, RPG was very difficult because I remember for Dungeons and Dragons, it was very precise artwork with a lot of conditions and this character, not this one, this color, not this color. So it was very interesting, very well paid, but it was quite hard sometimes. And when I came back in board games, I had the chance to, for my first games, it was like a Water Lily and Title 2. And I work with GameWorks and Sébastien Pochon, Malcolm Braff. And these guys are very, very good and very friendly and they really helped me a lot to come back in board game industry, to explain everything about the market, the production, etc. And when I do something, I like to do it deeper and to know everything. So it was a very great introduction for that.
I
So
see.
I thought, okay, I will not do only illustration. I want to understand everything, production and market, etc., to do my work as best as I can. So,
Um, yeah, and now
yeah.
hello. Oh, sorry. So I heard myself twice in my that was that was weird. So you stepped in a bit into my next question, which is, how do you work uh, with a publisher? Do you work with it? Why am I asking this? I come from we come. Let's say we're both artists, in different. We have different occupations. I'm a film director. You're an illustrator, but it is a it is a team sport, because, for example, my closest the closest person which I work with is a DP, which is a director of photography, which
Mm.
help creates a certain mood for a film and things like that. Uh, so, do you work with a designer very closely does he explain you mechanisms? Does he explain you how the game goes, feels, and everything like that? So you can come with an artwork which serves his work, or do you just play the game and see what you can do best in order to convey whatever he tried to convey through his mechanisms?
It in between, because usually it's case by case. So, for example, I'm very close to Bruno Catala, and when we work together on a game, we really work together. And but on some games, sometimes I work with the publisher and I have no contact with the designer, or I'm working with a artistic director, or some graphic designer. So on some,
Can you
for
give
me,
examples?
it's a question of feeling. So when someone reach me to introduce a project, I can feel if I need to play it and talk with the designer, or if it's quite straightforward, and maybe I just need a list of illustration to do. So sometimes it's not very funny on this way, but sometimes it's okay, and we can save time also. But sometimes I can feel that we really need to talk a lot. I need to play the game. I need to try, and so these days I'm more and more distant maybe with this. I prefer to do illustration only sometimes to focus on the illustration, because during several years I also did the graphic design of the game, editing the rule book, etc. And it's a lot of work. And I have some weird feeling because on some project I spend more time in front of the computer instead of painting the illustration. So I say, the balance is not good, so I want to rebalance in another way. So this day I'm more focused on illustration, and I feel better like that because I'm illustrator, painter. So
Yeah, but and how do you prefer to work? This is the next question. How do you prefer? Do you prefer for example, for a game like Unconscious Mind, which is a deeper game. It's a bit more complex. You practically had to work with another illustrator. You were two illustrators. How was that process?
yes, yes. I work with Andrew Bosley on Unconscious Mind on some part of the game, but not at all the part of the game. So there's some part it's quite easy because he can start something and I will fill the blank part. And the team from Fantasia Games is very good to handle everything, to manage the artwork. And for example, for the cover, we started to work. I don't remember. Maybe I don't remember. I think the Fantasia game, the graphic designer started to do some kind of layout of the cover, thinking, we have this vision. Andrew will do the top part, Vincent will do the bottom part. And then we started to sketch together separately, and then we mix and we say, okay, we need to adjust this and this and this. And I remember that Andrew painted his part first, and then I paint my part and I put it on and adjust everything.
So it was more of a collaborative process. For a game, and now I'm going to ask you for a game which is simpler, which is sorry, for a game like New York 1901, which is designed by
Chenier.
Chenier Lassalle. For that game, which is a simpler game, it's not as deep and complex as Unconscious Mind is. How did that process was?
Yeah, it's in between for this one because the game is not so complex, but at that moment I also handle the graphic design of the card, of the board, and the text, etc. Not the full box or the rule, but for the graphics I work on this. So and I remember that the prototype was very clear. very, very clear with a lot of documentation already in the car, on the card, on the board, etc. So it was very, very helpful to start to work on this. But yes, this game looks more like a commission to ask, okay, we have this to illustrate, and it's already prepared, and sometimes I fill the blank
Fill in the
in
blanks, yeah.
and make nice thing to get thing everything good together, but it, it's more like and maybe sometimes it's more like sometime in children book when people say, okay, we need 20 illustration like this, boom, boom, boom with a list. So it's very different.
Yeah, that's why that's why I want to talk for you to talk a bit about the process because it feels a bit different. Um, uh, in a way, you have brought into the board game industry a sort of impressionism. You brought the impressionism into the board game industry, and you have created, let's call it a wave, which other illustrators followed and will follow most likely.
Mm.
Um, why are you drawing in this way? What draws you to do things this way with very saturated colors, rich colors, very, let's call it, yeah, impressionistic style. This
Mm.
impressionistic style into your board game artwork, because you can go, probably you can go having that much experience. You could have gone on different routes. Why did you go on this route?
Because I always like old school illustration. So I think I'm doing uh, old school illustration, but with a modern approach. And I remember when I studied illustration, one day I came in a library and I checked the books, and everything was very childish, with paper collage, something like that. And I feel with my style, I will never have work. It will be very difficult for me to find job, and because I'm too old-fashioned way, something like that. And I talked with one of my teachers, Jean-Michel Nicolet, and he was very angry after me. And he said, why are you saying that? Do what you do now as best as you can, and I can guarantee you will have work all along your life and no problem. So I was a bit surprised. So I said, okay, I will follow this line. So uh, I like this kind of illustration first, like a classic illustration, good old style illustration. So I try to get this to learn from this style, but we are now more advanced, like 40, 50 years ago, etc. So I would like to modernize the style and to give new, and also to be in my period, in my time, because we can see a lot of colors everywhere, and also because now I think that players and readers, they have a lot of culture of images. Yeah,
Uh,
they can read comics, comic books, and looking at TV, animation, etc., video games. I think the expectation from the audience is more and more higher and higher. So, uh,
I wouldn't say necessarily more. Yeah, they have more. They have seen more, but not necessarily more cultured because, um, in a way, you draw very beautifully. The way you draw is your lines are curved. Your lines are um, um, they give you th- they don't stab you. You're if you understand what I'm trying to say.
yes, yeah.
They are fine. They create a certain nice atmosphere,
Mm.
and probably it's something which you want to do. It's something it's the style which you are going for. But the problem is that if somebody tries a bit to go a bit different, to go with a different artwork, it's not as um, people don't like it as much because they are not accustomed to that.
Mm.
You then comes the culture. The culture is towards towards more what you do. Let's call it towards more what's beautiful, towards impressionistic style things, which are more beautiful, more saturated, more. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. The bad thing I think is the fact that because most of the artwork goes into this direction when it comes to something different. um, the culture is not there to appreciate also what's different. That's why let's say I'm not disagreeing, but I would say that yeah, we need to accept also what's different in a way.
Yes, and I want to share something, to share feelings, sensations, to share colors, to share contrast. It's very important to get some contrast and also to surprise the readers or the players. And when I work, okay, I have to pay my bills, I have
Yeah,
to etc. So
yeah,
it's a work, it's my work. But I'm not working for me. I'm not working for the publisher or the designer. I'm working for the players.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so they will have to enjoy the
Yeah, yeah,
artwork
yeah. I know.
and to enjoy the game, to have a good time, etc. So I'm always thinking about that. Okay, I received a new project and I see, okay, what can I do for this to be different and more appealing, more to get a new approach. So I never work thinking, okay, a new project like a machine. I'm not a machine. Okay, we put in the Dutrait machine and print. No, no, no. I'm always thinking a lot about everything. What can I do for this to get something different? I do a lot of research. For example, here I have tons of books
I see.
everywhere, and also on this side. And I'm always looking for many references, documentation. Maybe sometimes in my work, I spend more than 50% of time doing some research about the project. Not only historical research, but also mood, atmospheres, colors, etc. And when I start to paint, to draw and paint, maybe for me the project is already finished
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
everything is ready
In
in my
your head.
mind.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just skills and time and okay, I'm painting, drawing, etc. But most important for me is to think about.
Yeah, yeah. It's a creative process which starts probably and takes long. When you start drawing, you know everything. You know everything comes out of your. But in the end, this is your creative process. Probably there are people out there who starts. There is a I forgot there was some letters between two Russian writers, and
Mhm.
I think it was um, between who did War and Peace, War and Peace, War and Peace. Uh, okay, I'm I'm blanking right now, and I don't want to take too much. But in his letter, he wrote at some point he wrote that a certain character did something to him. So
Mm.
he practically was writing what he felt like and where the story was taking him, and he was just writing what the story was taking him. So you can have that process also in the end. Also, you can start drawing and see where the drawing gets you.
Yes. When I work, as I'm working
Sorry.
on a traditional way with on paper, with painting and pencil, etc. Um, okay, I have some skills, I know what I do, I know where I go, etc. But there's also some accident.
Yeah, happy
It's also
accident.
possible to
Yeah.
get some happy accident, or sometimes I'm painting and I say, I have a clear vision of my illustration. Maybe this character is red, this one is yellow, I don't know. And sometimes I say, maybe blue will be better. So I try, or sometimes by accident, I say, oh, okay, it's good, it's better like this. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and as I'm there is something very important, I think, also, because as I'm working on paper, I have the final result in front of me. Okay, so I share a very special link with the player because the player will have a printed result in front of him, but it's on paper. So I'm working on paper. There is a transformation from computer and production, and the end is on paper. So there's something special with the player, with the readers. And sometimes maybe I can feel on some illustration that people working on computers, they don't have this link. You see what I mean? Uh, they are working on screen or on tablet like this, but it's not paper. It's not the final feeling.
Yeah.
There's
So
something very, very special about that. I think
so
so.
you start you painted effectively you paint with your brush and then you take it into computer.
Yes, I scan and I prepare the illustration, and as I know how manufacturers work, I can prepare the file very clean and ready to use, ready to print.
But first you paint normally. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
you don't paint
totally.
on computer.
No, no. I use computer only, maybe like you do for movies, just to adjust
I see.
something like a contrast or saturation or color, or maybe very, very few details to remove some dust or something. But I don't paint, and I don't have some tablet. I just have a mouse and
I see. I see. That's nice.
but for example, I include computer work in my process. For example, for the sketches, because I want to be very flexible. I'm not a guy doing a lot of doodles or something. So I prefer to have one vision, one clear vision. So usually when a publisher asks me for a cover, I will do only one sketch, but very precise. And on my side, all the elements are on separate layers. So if the publisher don't like the picture, okay, we will I accept. I will do another sketch going on another direction, but I never leave this for now. and and I can be very flexible for that to be prepared. And then when everything is okay, double checked, approved, etc., I paint at that moment. So.
I have now a question for you.
Mm.
What is fun to you? Fun is different for different people. Fun means different for different people. What is fun for you?
In my work,
Your work, your play.
yeah, I think maybe what is fun and also the most interesting is to find ideas because I don't have any. Well, sometimes I'm too shy, but I don't have any trouble to draw, to paint, etc. So it's just a matter of skill, and it's not talent, etc. It's just a skill you have to learn to produce things, etc. But the best part for me is to find ideas, to find the right idea, the good concept. It's the best part. And sometimes during weeks, I think about the cover. I say, no, I don't find an idea. And maybe with time and looking at more and more things, thinking more and more to have, okay, this one is a good one. And usually it's quite the good one. So I think
And
for me, it's the best part of the work, of the job.
and in games, what is fun? What do you find fun in games?
I like to have good time with other people around the table, and more specifically, maybe I like when I finish a game. I like if I build something.
You have
maybe I
created
will.
something, yeah.
Yeah, for example, when you play Ticket to Ride, even I will miss the goal and I fail, etc. At the end of the game, I did something because I built some road with my trains and something like that. So when you play Everdell, okay, sometimes it's difficult, etc. But at the end of the game, you have your tableau. You did something. So I really enjoyed this feeling.
I see.
Some kind of completion, I think.
What is your first published artwork on a game? Do you remember?
Again, I think it was a China Moon from Bruno Feduti.
China Moon from Bonafide Duty.
Mm.
What is your most played game?
Um, Maybe Ticket to Ride, I think so.
uh,
Because sometimes we say, we hesitate, we can play this or this, how we need to check the rules, and we finish, I say, okay, let's take Ticket to Ride and we will have pleasure every time, so it's okay.
and what is your favorite game?
Oh, I don't know. Favorite game? Mm, I don't know. It's sometime by period. This day I really like to play Everdell. We play
Everdell.
several times, but it will change sometime.
I see. And do you have a favorite designer? And who he is? Who is?
Uh, I
Is
really
it?
enjoy the game from Bruno Catala and Knizia also. I really enjoy because it. Uh, I like when the game is straightforward. You read the rules, you play, and there's some smart ideas, not big thing, very crazy, etc. So I really like with very very well done mechanism. We say simple, but it's not simple because it could be complex, but very very straight, and I really like that.
And under a motto which I really like, which Orson Welles said at some point: "Ignorance, there is no authority like it." I don't want to be ignorant, so I want to ask you if is there something which I didn't ask you, which you might wanted to be asked, a thing which you want to talk about that I haven't asked you.
Mm. I don't know. Yes, maybe because I have also something like that. Maybe what I'm proud, maybe something what I'm proud of about something.
Oh
You
yeah,
see what I?
maybe yes. It's your moment. I mean, you decide what you want to talk about. This is
Okay. So this is funny because I think I really enjoy my work, my illustration. I like my illustration. Even sometimes things change and old work became really old and new are new, etc. But I'm proud of what I do, but I'm most proud of what I will do in the future.
I see.
I can't wait to see that.
I
I'm
see.
very, very curious about that.
I see. I see. And this is where we finish the first part of the interview. Now we go to the questionnaire. Like I said, it's a questionnaire which derives the one from Proust, and then a French presenter, Bernard Pivot, he took it and um, he distilled it in a way, because there are a lot of questions in the Proust questionnaires. And then James Lipton also took it, and then I took it from them. Uh, Me, a, a pesky little someone from Romania. Well, sorry for the. Yeah, you virus. Leave me alone. So, the first question is: what is your favorite word? You can also say it in French. You're allowed to. You're not
So
cheating. Favorite word?
partager, share,
Partager?
to share,
Share. Ah, okay.
share. Mm.
So, do you like to share things?
Yes, yes. It's my life. I'm sharing things. Even I'm working alone. I'm sharing a visions, a universe. So I'm sharing things. So,
It sounds
yes.
so different, partager and share. It's yeah, it's
Or convey maybe. Or okay. So maybe in English, maybe transmit and convey something like that. Maybe
yeah. I
so
see.
to be accurate. Yeah.
Um, what is your least favorite word? Again, you can say it in French.
Mm. Uh, what is a reverse side of partager?
uh, yeah, egotistic,
Yeah,
egoism.
something like that. Yes, yes. Yeah.
What turns
Or,
you?
more simple, stupidity. Okay.
Okay. What turns you on creatively, emotionally, spiritually?
So sorry. What?
What turns you on creatively, emotionally, spiritually?
Okay. Well, the next step. The,
What
the,
comes?
the,
What comes
the,
next?
the,
Yeah, I
yeah,
understand.
what comes next? Yes,
Yeah,
I'm always looking for. Even I don't know what I will do tomorrow. I'm very curious to see what's next. Uh, hmm.
what turns you off creatively, emotionally, spiritually?
Uh, 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 so I can be lazy too. It's okay, but maybe how can I say? Maybe to miss the good idea. Maybe
To miss a good idea.
yes. Maybe sometimes I think I feel it's not so far. So or waiting. I have to wait sometime. I need to be patient, to be more patient to get the very good idea.
So patience.
Yes, maybe. Yeah.
You don't want to be patient. You want to have the idea fast.
Yes, sometimes. No, because I think it's possible to get good idea quite fast, but maybe there is always another better one,
Better
better
one.
one, better one. So,
What is your favorite curse word?
curse.
Curse word, yes.
Uh, I don't know. Hmm.
You can also say it in French.
A curse word, like a malediction, something like that.
Yeah. When you swear a bit, when you're mad and you drop one like an f bomb.
Or maybe ignorance.
No. Curse word is like when you say the f word. When you're mad and the first thing
Ah,
that comes out of your mind when you're mad, really
oh,
mad.
fuck. Fuck.
Exactly.
Oh
What's
no. Oh no.
what sound or noise do you love?
Oh. What sound of word?
Or noise do you love?
Nature, about nature.
The sound of
Like
in woods.
a river, bird, it's close to perfection. So
I
I
see.
really like that.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Of a neighbor sound, a city sound, a car sound, all the noise we have in the city or
I
of,
see.
of our society. Like now, it's not possible to enter in a shop, in a restaurant without music every time. So I hate that. So, yeah.
Which profession outside the one you already do you would like to attempt?
Oh, I'm already full. I never thought about that seriously. So another profession, maybe if I totally fail my artistic
Yeah.
career, etc. Maybe I would have worked for forest. Like I don't know the name in English, like a
Like
garde forestier,
yeah,
yeah,
like a
or
ranger.
forest keeper or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, so in nature, you would have liked to work in nature.
Mm.
What profession outside of one you already do you would not like to attempt?
So I think maybe working in hospital because I'm very impressed by the hard work of all these people. I really admire these people, but it's when I think about that, those people they are giving their life for other people, and uh, I think I cannot do that. They are too strong, too too brave. I
Yeah,
cannot be brave and strong like that. It's not possible for me. So
yeah. Uh, so you would be okay working in a sewage then?
working in,
In the sewage then?
yeah.
Um, and my last question, which is a big one: if if heaven exists, what do you expect God to say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I remember this question because I saw Bernard Pivot when I was young on TV. It's interesting because yes, a few days ago I think about something like that. Maybe uh, only the people who will want to remember will remember. Okay, I'm
Oh,
not working to leave something. So maybe only the people who want to remember will remember, and I will be very happy like that.
oh, so this is what you want to for God to say to you when you arrive there.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Vincent. This was the main part. Let's say I have a question here in chat, which is what advice would you give to illustrators which are starting in the board game industry?
Yeah, I think I have two advice. The first one, I remember when I entered in the school in Lyon, the director came and he said, "I will say three words to you: work, work, work. Bye bye." Oh. And yes, work, work, work. You have to work, 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 every time, every day. Working as illustrator, uh, in French, I would say métier passion. It's like a
Yeah.
job very linked to passion. You cannot do that like a tourist. I think there are a lot of publishers which are tourists in the board game industry. And but for artists, it's not possible to doing that like a machine, like a mercenary, or like a tourist. So you have to work hard and put a lot of passion. And my second advice is to to feed yourself with images and books and everything, every time. It's continuous work. This you cannot skip this. You have to read a lot, uh, do a lot of research, fill your mind with images and ideas and concept and colors and everything to do better and better things like that. So
Yeah.
I think it's work and feed for.
It's a constant improvement. It's like practically it's in every work. It's in every art. So it's the same thing in photography. It's the same thing in film. You just have to work to make yourself better. In the
Yeah,
end.
and things are never finished.
Yeah.
We can, I say sometimes I work and I say, okay, now it's done. Now it's done, but it's never finished. It's possible to do more and more and more and more. So
Yeah.
I say, okay, stop. I finish this work, and maybe in the future. So that's why I'm sometimes very interesting to see what I will do in the future. Maybe I will work on a similar project, and I will do something different and better than 10 years ago or something like that. So,
Yeah. But on the other hand, we also need to know when to let go. because you might do too
Exactly.
much.
Yes, yes. And usually you get this with experience because I can feel, okay, uh, okay, now it's not, it's enough, it's done. Okay,
It's done.
done, it's okay, the
Fly,
balance is good.
fly, 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 go away, fly.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
I did what I know. You go do it. Give it to
Yeah.
the world and see
Mm,
how the world reacts. Yeah.
mm.
Um.
And no regret,
No.
never.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, maybe sometime I say done too early, or I don't know, but no, no, just thinking, looking at the future in front.
Thank you for your time today, Vincent.
You're
It.
welcome.
I hope you had a good time. I hope you felt good here on our comfy chairs,
Yes.
virtual comfy chairs in our virtual gaming room. I hope we'll see each other maybe in Essen sometimes, maybe well, somewhere, and talk face to face.
Yes,
Okay,
Mike. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
it was my pleasure. I kindly ask to not close the conversation. I will finish this and then we will speak a bit more
Mm.
afterwards. Thank you a lot again,
Yeah,
and
thanks.
and I will say that I want to thank everybody who comes and watch, who came and watched live. I want to thank everybody who will come and watch after the fact. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Vincent, pour cette interview. And until next time, I have to say to if you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. This kind of interviews, I will try to do them more and more, to do more and more interviews with different people from the industry to see how what their background is, how did they come into the industry, what were their path, and maybe these paths will help some of you who are interested in coming into the industry, who are interested, some of you who are interested to see how hard it is, yeah, and in the end to see that it is possible with sacrifices, but it is possible to do it, to make it into this industry. Again, I want to thank everyone who come and watch live. I want to thank everyone who comes after the fact. If you like what you see, like, share, and subscribe. If you can, help us on the Patreon page with some change. If you have some change left, you can help us. Until next time, all I have to say is what it says here: play a lot, play loads, have fun, and until next time, bye bye, fine folks, wherever in the world you are.